Cheers, welcome to my channel. This daily tarot oracle reading, Tattletales from Tales from the Vector, is a general or collective reading, which means that parts of it may or may not resonate with you. My goal is to provide valuable information to empower you. So please do be aware that because it's a general or collective reading, parts of it may or may not resonate with you. This is also a timely reading, meaning that whenever you see it, that's the perfect time for you. And if you're watching it quite some time in the future from when it was posted, you may find it beneficial to go back and look at when I posted this, what was happening in your life then, and it might give you some more clarity as to what is happening now. I already shuffled the cards, but I'm just giving them a quick cut and shuffle, and I am finding the underlying energy from the bottom of the deck, and we have fulfillment and marriage. We're off to a good start. So this is the card about fulfillment. And this is talking about, like the all-American dream, basically. What people generally do, which is get married, have a family, and they have the house, they have the yard, they have it in the place that they want. So this is talking about having like all of the material needs, like that they are becoming met. This is talking about the beginning of fulfillment more, because it's just the Four of Wands, but it is the marriage card for the tarot. So it's saying, okay, like you're likely, if you're looking for marriage, you may find someone that is also looking for marriage with you. And it's saying like congratulations, you have the down payment for the castle, but you're still going to have to make the mortgage payments kind of energy. It's something you have to keep working on. And this also represents the 1111 portal, or a 111 portal, which is, you've been through it. It's synchronicity from the universe. It's kind of like you'll be going along in your day, and all of a sudden you'll look up the clock and it's like 1111 or 111. And that happens a lot. Or you're driving along and someone passes you and they have a 111 license plate. Or you need to go pick something up from an address and it's 111 blah, blah, blah. That's the kind of energy it is. And when that happens, it's the universe telling you, be very careful of your thoughts right at this moment. Your thoughts may have been wandering, and you might have been starting to worry about something or whatever. And this is saying, keep your thoughts on what you want, not on what you don't want, because you're manifesting at a very powerful level at this time. I'm just going to check that this next card out. Okay, good. It's in the right placement. I've been doing several readings, and they were of a different spread, so. I was doing bonus readings actually for the full moon coming in on January 3rd. So if you're interested in that, I have just another 3 to go. And the other ones are already up. So we have the Five of Swords. So the Five of Swords is talking about someone that's, been having to battle for what they want. And that might be for this, actually. This is talking about there's several meanings to this card. So one of them is that if you're battling within yourself, it could be your subconscious, unconscious, and conscious mind. So your subconscious mind is what you learn, like what was imprinted on you from the time you were born until the time that you reach about 7 years of age. And it's very heavily imprinted on us, but we don't really remember what happened to us at that time. So it's the thoughts of other people that were put in charge of our care. And they'll say, oh, you were like this when you were a baby, and you did that when you were a baby, and you walked at this age, and all of those things. We have to rely on their interpretation of who we are, and yet that's heavily imprinted on us. And when we're stressed out, the subconscious mind is the first mind that works, like that jumps in. And then we have the energy of your unconscious mind, which is your soul crying out for, hey, I'm here. And a lot of people feel that they are actually like a human being with a soul. Having said that, you're actually a soul that's traveling in a human body, and that's your vehicle for exploring the earth. and for doing your thing, your mission down here. And then we have the conscious mind. So the conscious mind is what he's got his hand on. It's what he's aware of. And this is, I feel, representing the double-edged sword. So all of the cards in the tarot have two meanings, basically. There's positive and negative, or weak and strong, however you want to look at that. And so there's different versions for different situations. But this is saying also that this could be someone that every time you battle with something to have this fulfillment, or someone, if it's from outside of you, you are becoming a better version of yourself because you're learning from it. And then you move on and you learn again and you become even a better version. So you're really not competing with other people. You're competing with yourself to see, do you really want this? That's the kind of energy. And then we have the King of Cups is coming in. So the King of Cups is one of four kings in the Minor Arcana. He's sitting on his throne. He's out in the middle of, on this slab, in the middle of all this water. And there's a lot of big waves out there. And he's, the big wave, like this water, like when it's troubled like that, it represents emotions, and quite often mixed emotions. So mixed emotions are the most challenging emotions to understand of all. Mixed emotions are like when you are sort of, you have happy and sad thoughts, or, you know, about something, like opposing thoughts. And it causes different emotions in you, kind of representing those two swords there. And so this energy, like for example, when I drove by the hospital where my parents passed, they passed under really challenging conditions. It was not a pleasant time. And I feel sad when I drive by and I think of them. But at the same time, that's the same place where I gave birth to my two daughters. And so that energy, when I go by and I think of my daughters, I'm like, oh, that was such a blessed day, you know? So this energy is talking about those mixed emotions. Like sometimes the sad emotions win and sometimes the happy emotions win. And when you have mixed emotions like that, it's harder to make like clear cut, you know, decisions. But the King of Cups, he's the most available emotionally. He has control over his, he's mastered control over his emotions. So he has a cup of love here. Generally, this does mean romance, but having said that, it also can mean that the cup of love is about something you really love to do or be, you know, and it doesn't have, and the people you love in your life, or the pets you love, that kind of energy. It doesn't have to be romantic love, but quite often it is. And especially with this commitment here, this commitment is usually marriage is what this is talking about. And then we have reconciliation. So 6 cups. I feel like there is definitely some energy here of, you know, a possibility of romantic love if you're looking for that. This is talking about, you know, when you first, this card of reconciliation is a card of illusion. It's, you know, kind of reunion, and it's also reconciliation of all these, of the mind with your heart's desires. And so it can be an inward reconciliation, or it can also be actually reconciling with someone or reuniting with people you haven't seen for a long time. So this card's been coming up a lot because we're in the holiday season and a lot of people are traveling to be with family, and maybe you haven't seen them in quite some time since last holiday season or whatever. And so this energy is talking about sometimes if it's about, not about reunion, but it's about reconciliation. Reconciliation, the first step to reconciliation is forgiveness. And once you forgive someone and forgive yourself in the situation, then there's room for reconciliation. But forgiveness doesn't automatically mean that you want to reconcile. You can forgive someone and move forward so that you can move forward in your life. And you hand the karma that was, you know, that if there was something negative that happened to you, you hand that back to them and give them responsibility for it so that you are not carrying a burden that's not yours. At the same time, when you look at this card, it looks like 2 children that are out playing in the yard, and there's someone watching over them. But when you look again, you notice, hey, this kid's a gnome, and this is an old lady if you look at it one way, and if you look at it the other way, oh, it's like a younger woman, but she's really small. And so these white, and this is the only card cup that has or cup, the cards with cups on them that has the white flowers in them like this, like they're all full of flowers. And this flower is from the nightshade family. So it's very highly poisonous, but it's also very innocent. It's sometimes used by shamans for ceremonies, etc. But it's really highly poisonous, so it's not something like to play around with at all. And the watchman in the background, the person that's watching over these children, is actually walking away. So it's the whole thing is an illusion, and it's about illusions that have been created. And it's talking about, you really need to go inward and see what is it that you want. If you want reconciliation with someone, that's cool, but you make sure that that's the proper thing to do. I say when people show you who they are the first time, and if they've hurt you really badly and it was intentional, that they've already shown you who they are. So you can forgive and you don't have to reconcile, or you can choose to reconcile. And this could be with an old lover, because it's kind of like, it could have been a poisonous relationship, and that's why it's coming up in this way. And yeah, and it's caused you to have to carry burdens that don't belong to you. And so this person is like carrying some very heavy wands here. Having said that, these wands are representing actions, and they could be his actions or other people's actions that have been planted, but he's taken them on as his own. And they might be heavy with fruit, so it might be like, hey, you're almost home, get your harvest home. But he's tired, and you can tell. And it's also like he thinks he can't see where he's going. So his body language is, oh, I don't know if I can make it. But he's like so close, right? Like, put them down and come back and take them 5 at a time if you need to, if you want all of them. But this also says that it's, I think, tied to this card, that it's an illusion if you think that you have to, like, if you forgive someone, it doesn't mean you have to have anything to do with them. You don't even have to tell them you forgive them. You just do it for yourself. And then you put down that burden, and then the karma belongs to them, and you can move forward, and you're not carrying burdens that don't belong to you. And we have the Page of Swords coming in. So it's regarding this energy here of battling to get this fulfillment that you want. And the Page of Swords, the pages used to work for the kings and queens and in the court. And so they would generally be between the age of 7 and 14 when they began working. And they would just run messages back and forth within the walls of the castle, within the walls of the court. Generally, they would come from like high society people, and possibly someone that was related to the royalty, because everyone's related to the royalty. They surround themselves with it. Like, that's just the way it is. And so they would be kind of put in training. And then when they got older, if they were, they worked out and they were really good at what they did, then they would be promoted and considered for knighthood if they had enough money for a horse and they were doing a good job. Once they became a knight, then they would be going out far and wide and traveling for miles, delivering messages. Sometimes they'd travel to another country by horse and deliver the message, and then have to come all the way back. So it was much slower than it is today, where with the click of a mouse, we can read an email, or have a text, or we have all these apps that we have access to communicate with people. And so it could be a letter, it could be a phone call, it could be an email, a text, it could be documents coming in, it could be a social media post, that kind of energy. And so this energy is talking about, okay, this message is coming in, and out of all of the pages, this is the only one that's not really looking at his message, or at his element. He's looking away, and this is because this represents your mental intelligence, and he already has that in his hand. It's like he's kind of, this represents someone who is a forward thinker that uses their intuition and their logic to make choices and decisions. You'll notice, like, the stance that he has reminds me of a golfer. So quite often this comes, like, again, from someone that hasn't, golf is an expensive sport. And usually it's more the elite that can afford to do it. And a lot of business is done on the golf court. So A lot of people that are high up in society, they master the golf because they know if they master golf, they impress people that also master golf. The reason for that is golf is really a matter of power over your mind over matter kind of energy, like, or matter over mind in some ways. So it's about having a real strong discipline of the mind. And when you're competing with other people in golf, you're really competing with your ability to remain really focused on getting that ball in the hole. Like that's the job at the time, and you stay focused on that. Even though you're chit-chatting about other stuff, when it comes time to hit that ball, you're competing with your last score. Or if you were on that course already, you're competing with the best you've ever done on that course. And then the Page of Cups also comes in. So it feels like the King of Cups is sending a message to about a thought and something that he loves, or thinking of someone that he loves. That could be the energy. So the Page of Cups, like the Page of Swords, you see how his element is more this cup, and he's very focused on this cup. He's studying this cup because he wants, and there's a fish in it, and he wants to know, like, how do I, like how am I going to get this thought across, I feel like, to this fish. And he understands there's plenty of fish in the sea, but he's got this fish in his cup, and this is the fish that he wants to focus on at this time. And this quite often does represent romantic love, or again, it can represent something that you love to be or love to do, or it could be a business that you love, or something that you've been working on. And this energy is about the thinking of whatever this love is. And I feel like it also has another message to it. In 2020-ish, we moved from the sign of Pisces into the age of Pisces, which is, I think, around 1600 and some years. And then we move into the the age of Aquarius. And we did that in around 2020. And so the energy, the Pisces energy, is kind of the old boys club, the way things have always been. People would have a career, and they would definitely stay in the same career for most of their life, or for all of their life. And they often worked for the same company. And it was the old boys club. Everybody knew everybody. A handshake was your word, that kind of energy. And now we're in the age of Aquarius, where it's more about technology, and it's air. The element is air. It's about thinking and swords and technology and using it in a different way. And it would be very rare these days for someone to even stay in the same career for their whole lifetime, as well as for the same country or same company. It's almost unheard of. So it's kind of talking about that energy also. And then someone's been left out in the cold. So this could also mean there's something fishy or up about, the king is thinking, there's something fishy about my love life. Maybe I need to take a closer look at it, that kind of energy. Because somebody's been left out in the cold. And so this left out in the cold, this means, generally this means there's been tactics. And these two people, it could be just the way the economy is going or whatever, and now their business didn't work out, They weren't able to get the harvest home. They weren't able to achieve this fulfillment. And this is talking about being left out in the cold, of society, the society that they used to be in, the friends and family. It's kind of this guy's barefoot in the snow, and this one is on crutches. So the two of them are collaborating with each other to combine their energy so that they can keep going without having to stop and go in the church. They want to go on their own steam and keep moving forward in their plans and try and get back on their feet. And this energy is that the pentacles represent, they represent health, wealth, and happiness in the 3D world. So your lifestyle and everything about, how you live, etc. And this energy is also for sure about money, about the coin. And there's always two sides to every coin kind of energy. So whatever happened here, there's a lot of snow, and so the snow represents flakes. And if you're from Canada, you would understand this. When it snows a lot, if at first it's like, oh, they're so pretty, a few flakes coming down, especially for Christmas, it's beautiful, and then all of a sudden it snows in the prairies. Like in Canada here, we had huge, massive storms we've been having in the prairies. Been very fortunate. Like the flooding has stopped on the west coast and that, but it's really, Canada's a big country. We've got flooding on one coast, and on the other coast we have all these big storms coming in with tons of snow, and all across the prairies, and minus 40 degrees Celsius weather. And when the snow's blowing like that, it can collapse your house. Like you can literally have snow up to your roof of your house kind of energy. So it's kind of talking about a bunch, we can all handle a flake or two, but if a bunch of people gang up on you, you're probably going to have to fight you're going to have to battle to have this fulfillment. I'm building a pyramid here. This bottom line represents the tools that you do have. So when the fool starts his journey on in the major arcana, he starts at the 0 point, and he he's collects his tools. And so this is saying that you do have a lot of willpower, you have love, you have the ability to forgive and reconcile. You are a hard worker, like you can carry the load, and perhaps maybe you're carrying the load for other people's burdens. You are mentally, like you have a lot of intelligence, and you also have capacity for romantic love. But you've been left out in the cold for some reason. You're going through a harsh time right now. But then, bang, on this energy we have, isn't that interesting? We have all these cups come in now, 10 of them. And that 10 of cups is the most that you can have. That's so like from this to this. So this maybe does represent that you have been hard at work while others have been hard at play. And maybe the King of Cups has some sort of his eye on someone. And now that this goal is accomplished, he's brought his harvest home, he's ready to maybe propose or something like that. And that's what this is about. So it's kind of like this energy, maybe it's representing, okay, the battle's over, the harvest is home, or all close to being home, and now he can go golfing every day with everybody else, and then he won't be left out in the cold anymore. He's got the fulfillment. And this is the 10 of Cups, is loving where you live, loving your partner, and having beautiful children that you love, and being in a location you love, in the home you love, in your career is something you love doing, and you love to be there, that kind of energy. It's like total fulfillment. Now, that's different for everybody, and whether we can always have total fulfillment is, how it's probably not every single minute of every single day. Having said that, this is like some beautiful energy, and so we're moving into what are the obstacles, and I feel like this was removed. That this is saying, and you notice it's 10 and 10, so it's saying that this is representing 2026. Right? Moving into this new energy. That's the energy that's been coming up a lot. And then we have, yes, because the universe and God have handed you an Ace of Pentacles. The Ace of Pentacles is because you've stayed on your path, as difficult as it could be, and you've made it home. This is saying, okay, you had this happening, but you made it. So, maybe you met someone that you haven't seen for a while along the way when you were visiting with family or something, and now you're thinking, I might just ask that person to marry me, which is pretty wild. And then there's this energy here of the Fool on a totally new journey. This is the 0 point. So this is talking about, so it's basically saying there are no obstacles anymore. You're going to have this fulfillment. It's ordained for you. This pentacle is a reward from the universe and from God for staying on your path. through all the obstacles. And this is saying the obstacles in 2026, you're going to find if you were in a decade of like some pretty seriously challenging times, that those times are switching and now it's going to be the opposite. And you're going to be in like this energy. Woohoo. And look at, I love this. So the Fool is on his journey, and the very first card that comes up after the Fool card in the Major Arcana is the Magician. So the Fool comes along and he gathers his tools to go on this new journey. This one's over now. It's really clear. You're no longer left out in the cold. You're going to be moving into this energy. You might even be moving somewhere warm from the cold. And this is, the Magician has, it's talking about as above, so below. And he's pointing at the fact that you brought this home. You stayed on your path and you brought this home. So you're on a new cycle now. This is infinite potential brought from heaven to earth. Congratulations. Like, this is like really awesome energy. And these were the tools that you had, and now you have those tools to continue living with more fulfillment in your life. You know, remember, you have the down payment, but you still might have to pay the mortgage kind of energy. You're well on your way. And I'm just getting, this is this energy, this illusion. If there was some sort of illusion that was made around you, you know, like if people were talking, you know, like, you know, these two are looking like they're in a conversation with each other. And if there was a lot of talk about you, and it was like, you know, not very pleasant talk, and it caused a never-ending nightmare for you. Like, you're always having to battle. Like, and like that's a bad place to be in, when you feel like you have to just battle to exist, kind of energy. And so this is talking about, like, the Nine of Swords is talking about, I feel 2025 again. And this, you could have been in this never-ending loop of energy, and you were left out in the cold, and it was because of tactics that were being used against you. And it was like you had to just keep on going. Like, that's the energy. This represents just keep going. You're almost there. Really interesting. And there was some sort of communication about this, and then the next thing you know, you have fulfillment. Miracles do happen. And this also can talk about waking up in the wee hours of the night, and it's like all of a sudden you have this like, aha, I know exactly what I need to do to have my fulfillment. And you go ahead and you do it, and bang, it feels like overnight success, but it's actually been something you've been working on for a long time. And so this could be someone woke up from a dream and they're trying to remember every second of it, because there was instruction from the Most High, from the Holy Spirit. And that quite often does happen between the hours of 2 and 4 in the morning. And then we have the Queen of Wands comes in. So the Queen of Wands energy, she's sitting on her throne. And she is one of the 4 queens in the Major Arcana. Now remember, the King of Cups could be a female. These are archetypes. So the King of Cups could be a female in her masculine energy, as well as a male in his masculine energy. And the Queen of Wands could be a female in her feminine energy, as well as a male in their feminine energy. So this energy is talking, like, this is sitting on the King of Cups. So maybe the the Queen of Wands is highly desirable. Like, she's got a sunny disposition. She follows the sun, you know, like, so she doesn't get too upset over things very easily. And she likes to use creative solutions. So she's aware of the problems, but she doesn't get wrapped up in this energy. She might go there and then go inside, meditate, get an intuitive answer, and then put it into action. And it'll be a creative solution, and it'll like shift things really quickly. And she has this little black cat here. This represents, like, a lot of people are afraid that black cats like have negative energy, but she's not worried about negative energy. That's what it represents. She has no problem with black cats. She's like, whatever kind of energy. And then, okay, so then did these two run into each other, and it caused this reunion of some kind? And now this kind of woke this king up to the fact, hey, I'm ready. I'm going to ask this person for a date or whatever. And then it turned into, I'm going to ask them to marry me kind of energy, or I'm about to. And this is kind of, the energy is the Knight of Swords is coming in. I feel like this energy is coming in possibly from the people that were battling with this King of Cups to cause this kind of energy so that they wouldn't get this. So that's the kind of energy that I feel is coming in. Because if you look at the Knight of Swords, they're coming in a hurry, and they don't have all the information yet. You can't see the point of their sword, so they might not even be able to get to the point. They just heard some rumors or gossip, that kind of energy. And look at, they're running against the wind. The horse is totally stressed out. And they're like, this card sometimes represents a fool rushing in. Now, let's take a look at this and see. And then, oh, but and it's about this King of Cups offering. And this is, because I was going to say before this that the Page of Cups usually represents more like a first date kind of energy. But maybe you run into someone that you knew from your childhood, and you hit it off really well. Went on a date when you really hit it off, and it turned into this really quickly. And so the energy that had you in this energy is like freaking out. Like, look at, like, hey, this energy, they met, they got together, and now they're happy. Like, we can't have that. Must be the Grinch who stole Christmas. Because the Knight of Cups is coming in with a cup of love. Now, the Knight of Cups is more likely than the Page of Cups to come in with like an offer of marriage. He's like the figure that you read about in the romance novels, that you see in the movies, that comes in really well dressed, well put together, very highly desirable. And he's carrying that cup of love. And look at the difference in the horses, right? And he's going in this direction towards this energy of fulfillment. And this energy is going off the chart this way. I feel like this represents the 9. And look at this. The Magician is pointing to this offer, and also about bringing the harvest in. So maybe the King of Cups had closed his heart for a while there, and now that it's reopened, this fulfillment is coming in. That's really cool. And then because this energy is, okay, having the courage now to move forward. There's been disappointment in love in the past. So either there's been 3 disappointing, important relationships of, romance, or someone that maybe the King of Cups is with in the past has disappointed them 3 times, and 3 strikes you're out kind of energy. The universe is offering this cup, and he's like, oh, I've really got to consider this, man, because I've been disappointed so much in love. I just don't really want it. But I feel like, okay, he's thinking, I'm going to take the risk. So this could be someone that's wanting to propose to you, or you're wanting to propose to someone, depending on who the King of Cups energy is. It's taken a lot of thought. Really went inward for this one. And this is about, I'm just getting that maybe this energy that the King of Pentacles lost a bunch of money and was left out in the cold because of the actions of someone that he thought he loved, kind of energy. And it was a never-ending nightmare with this person. And it could have been the Queen of Wands energy that caused it. Or now he's run into the Queen of Wands at this meeting, and he's like, okay, this energy feels like it's whatever this battle was about, this battle of wills. Because when you look at it, the only 2 swords or 3 swords cards are this one and this one. And the rest is all about reconciliation, bringing the harvest in. It could be burdensome, but it's talking about staying on your path, and you got the job done one way or another kind of energy. And so the Hangman is hanging from the tree of knowledge, and he's upside down because he wants to get have a different perception. Like he wants to look at things from all angles before he makes this big decision, right? And the hangman, when he gets the enlightenment that he needs from going inward, then he will take action. And he feels he's met his soulmate, so he is going to propose. That's the energy. Very cool. So the soulmate energy is representing your perfect, divinely guided partner. So this is a reward to have this ultimate fulfillment that's coming straight from the divine. This is a partnership that's anointed by the divine. And then we have, lovers coming in right here under this, like on top of this gift here. So this is like the ultimate person for this King of Wands, and it could be these two individuals, or it could be, it's definitely, I feel, about the King of Cups though, because the King of Cups is, this energy is like very open and loving, but if they are betrayed, they're most likely to carry a grudge and for a long time, and to take it really, really hard. So that could be the energy there. And so the lovers is about, a choice and choosing, okay, I'm going to have this relationship and this commitment with this lover, with this person that I ran into. That's the energy I'm feeling. Then there's the sun. And this is this is kind of saying that that's the 10 cups for you, is you might have been working really hard to get something done, and had, a lot of hardships along the way, but you stayed on your path. And because of that, the sun is shining down on you. This is the happiest card in the deck. And this is saying you have deserved this. You've kept on your path since you were, a child. I mean, we all divert off the path at one time or another, made some choices that maybe weren't the most beneficial for yourself or for others, but that's how we learn, right? And so, okay. And this energy is talking about that this is the King of Cups, this person feels like they're an empress too. So the empress is all four queens rolled into one person, and they are like pregnant with possibilities. So this also can represent a pregnancy. So maybe you got together a few months back, and now it was the Queen of Wands, and now she's an empress. She's pregnant with possibility and possibly pregnant. And so that's what the wheat represents here, growing crops, and understanding how nature works, and that this is just kind of like natural progression of events coming up. So like the queen of the empress she's through her life experiences has learned how to use her logic and her creativity and still remain, even if she's gone through hard times, remain in a state of optimism. The glass is half full, not half empty kind of energy. And she also understands the coin. She understands health, wealth, happiness. And she is an intelligent person that is able to use her mind. And what's the other one that I haven't touched on yet? Oh, yes, the air. Oh, no, that was the mind. And also is able to produce at a high rate, and has the capacity for love, and to love her children and love her, love having a family kind of energy. So this is and this is your heart's desires here. Yes, and look at that. So the Emperor is here now also. So whatever happened, maybe way back whenever, these two might have been on a journey and then met up again somehow. And then they got together, and now with all this life experience and all of this energy that they went through, they have gotten together now, and he's like her, like they both raised their vibration. Like I was saying, the more you go through, the higher your vibration becomes, because you become a better version of yourself. So the Emperor and the Empress now are together, and this is the heart's desires. Really interesting. And so the emperor is about performance. There's generally someone that like is really intelligent and wise, and someone people look up to. He wears his armor under his robe here because he knows, like, if an opportunity comes along, he'll jump on it. Like he'll know, oh, okay, this is worth getting up for, this is worth taking action on. And he also has the capacity to love, and he's he's a forward thinker, that kind of energy. Really, really beautiful energy. So yeah, all of these choices, all of these cups are coming in. Really, really, it's like this person's like this couple now are about all the possibilities that come forward when you open your heart to love, and you have like a perfect partner for you. This is saying it twice here, because this is the soulmates and this is the twin flames kind of energy. And this, God is right in between that, right? And then all of a sudden here, this is how God sees these people, Empress and Emperor. And that you have all the choices. Like this is what you, for staying on, both of you staying on your path. You might have been on it separately, but you got it done kind of energy. Then we have the Ace of Swords coming in. So this is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. And so God is saying, again, this cup of love I'm offering you is your divine partner, your soulmate, your twin flame, and you're going to be very happy. And this is like the top of the field. This is I'm only offering you the best. You don't have to worry about disappointment. That kind of energy. And then we have, there's a lot of passion too, because the Page of Wands, it's like almost like feeling like child again, like just really feeling like that passion that you feel when you're young for life again, and moving forward with that energy, plus being very passionate with each other. So that's because the Page of Wands, and this is another communication coming out. I'm almost getting that this is the wedding invitations going out kind of energy. Up here we have the Three of Pentacles. And so this energy is saying that both of these people, the Empress and the Emperor, are at the top of their game. They're in an elevated position. And so I feel like in the past, some of this energy down here was caused by this, by collaborating with people that did not have their best interests at heart, on both sides. And that there was people on both sides of this couple that were collaborating so that they wouldn't become Emperor and Empress energy. And now those people are, they're not people like you have the wisdom there not to collaborate with people that aren't in alignment with your goals. And I feel these people now are in alignment because they can see the potential of all of this. And before they couldn't for some reason. But it's this left out in the cold energy. And this sometimes means secret societies. So what this is saying is, if you're in a position now and you're really doing really well, and you're in an elevated position, make sure that if you collaborate with people, that they have your best interests, and it's not going to drag you back down into this cycle here. Because this card is coming up, and this represents, like the Seven of Pentacles represents all the work that you had to put into this, and some money went missing kind of energy. Like all this work wasn't worth just this one pentacle. And this person is like looking at it and wondering what happened here, because it was going along so well and then this happened, right? And so it's kind of like a back and forth energy of, but it's interesting because it's also saying, because it's right above this Empress and the Magician and this reconciliation. So I feel like, and this energy is kind of saying that it was meant to happen. Like this was the first step of your journey, and you had to go through this entire journey. And every time you had to battle like that, as hard as it was and as burdensome as it could be, that also made look how big the harvest is, and you were able to bring that home. So it's kind of saying like there was doubt on the way. Maybe these people doubted that you would be able to stand up to this energy, and so they weren't supporting, and now they are supportive of your energy. Because we have at the very top here, isn't that interesting how this is all happy and it's all the truth, but like this is now coming in. I feel like, right, like we have it in a line here. There were some burdens that weren't yours, and you were disappointed in love, so there could have been some energy around that. And this is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, is what you say when you're in court. And there is a lot of people involved that sabotaged you, but because of that, and like, let's go from the bottom here to the top, because this fulfillment is here, and this is what this whole underlying energy of this reading is about. So this is the past going up from here. So this is about, having to battle for this success. This is the Queen of Wands energy, like using your intuition and your logic and being visionary and moving forward. This is, I feel, is the energy of the people you were battling with. Then we have the Emperor here, and he has a lot of choice. Like all of a sudden he has a lot of choice when this message comes in. And this is about, okay, why all this work that he's put into it, the reason it wasn't happening as quickly as it should have is because he was being sabotaged. But this sabotage was a blessing in disguise, because of every time he had to battle, it brought him closer to his goal instead of further from it. Really interesting. And the people, it was a lot of people. And it was people like that he was collaborating with. Like this is almost covering him. You see that? And this is talking about the people he was collaborating with. And maybe when he was with those people, they were people that he knew for a long time, since 14 years to 21 years of age. And this is about making the choice of who he wants to be with and what he wants to do. And this is soulmate energy. So this is talking about, once this happened, then this happened. The happiness comes in because this was ordained by God to happen. And being left out in the cold, that energy is like from 2025, and now we're on the fulfillment. It's almost like, there we go. But by being like, it's really interesting because these bottom two cards, you see that, and that one at the top, and the rest is all kind of like, we have this, but this can be enlightenment, and this burden could have been like actually a big harvest. So it's almost like these three are the cornerstones on the top of the pyramid. And so this energy of being left in the cold was the best thing that could have happened. It was a blessing in disguise, because if you would have been involved with this energy, none of this this good stuff would have happened. And that's the energy coming in here, that message coming in here. Like this was found out. This is because like it's so interesting. Like you look at these three cards here, and just this one, and the disappointment, the truth coming out. Really, really, I haven't really seen it quite like that before. It's really different. I'm going to clarify this. If you're enjoying this reading, please give it a like and a comment. It really helps build my channel, and I really, really appreciate it. And I am going to clarify with my oracle, Tales from the Vector. That's TAILS. And I do have a website, talesfromthevector.com. This is courtesy of the Intergalactic Federation of Light. I started working on it in 2007, and I completed the last painting. I'm an artist, so I paint, they're big dragon paintings. So I've completed this in 2020, the last painting, and now I'm working on the information. I have it ready to print and all that, but I have to get the information together. And so I wanted to go online and work with lots of people so I have the information correct. And in the description box below, I will have the numbers of the cards as they're listed on my website in the gallery. So if you want to check them out, you can check them out there. And there's some more information there that you might find will clarify things for you more. Also, remember, if you're watching this in the future, like take a look at what was going on in your life when I posted this, and also think about what was happening in 2015, 2016, that kind of energy. All right, I'm just waiting for these cards. When they're ready to go, they jump out. So, or there's one that will say I want out, and then I can start here. There we go. Oh, there it is. Okay. So we have 40. Oh, we have abusive power. There we go. So it's a karmic space. Life's only a bitch if you are. So this is talking about tactics being used, and someone that had the ability to stop this fulfillment abused their power to do so. And this is Capricorn energy here. This is about, and that is where we have the new moon or the full moon in Cancer on January 3rd coming up here. And I did a reading for that. I don't know if I've already mentioned that. I think I did in this reading. But the Sun and Mars and Venus, so love, the energy around love. Mars is very aggressive energy, and the Sun shedding light on what happened, like on these hidden aspects, is coming up. And that we can feel the full moon energy at least 3 days before and 3 days after, and that's this is part of the timing of when this energy is going to shift. And we have dissension. So dissension is when, you divide and conquer a group of people. And so there were some friends that weren't friends, is what's coming up here. And with friends like this, who needs enemies? But keep your friends closer and your frenemies closer yet. So you know what they're up to. And then this is the battle star energy. So this is talking about having the courage to keep going. Even when it got really challenging and difficult. And we get that courage from the solar plexus chakra. We have mother's worry. This has been coming up a lot in the readings, the mother's worry. And I feel on some level, a lot of people think of the earth as being Mother Earth. And it's kind of talking about worried about the way the economy is going and how events of the world are affecting us. That kind of energy. A lot of people are kind of in that energy. And then we have the lack of awareness. So never underestimate the power of willful ignorance. Like, people can pretend that they don't know things all they want, but if you really don't know what's going on, and you trust your friends and they're actually frenemies, this is the kind of energy that the tactics of being left out in the cold that I was talking about before. But this is really interesting because if you live in Canada and you live in an area where it snows all the time, you can always smell in the spring when the snow melts, lazy dog owners who haven't been picking up their shift in between. They wait until spring to do it. They actually have companies now that come out and do it for you if you don't want to get your hands dirty like this, right? And so, paying others to do your dirty work kind of energy, abuse of power, that kind of energy. But like God says, in the spring, the sun shines even brighter and the days are getting longer. And the sun will melt the snow and everything will be exposed, and it'll be very public because you can smell it from a mile away. And if you look at the news right now, there's so many situations like that in the news right now. It's kind of like overwhelming if you really look at it. It's like, whoa, what the heck were people thinking, that kind of energy, and all the truths coming out about real shifty business that's been going on. And that's always happened, but now we have all this technology to hear about it right away and to track it better, that kind of energy. And so some sort of tower did hit. And now this is the divorce card in my oracle, but it's also meaning that the energy of divorce from source is the worst divorce. Like, if you're separated from source energy, then who are you going to rely on if you can't rely on your friends and your frenemies? You know what I'm saying? And this energy In my oracle, it's a dragon that was captured when she was young and forced to flame the, keep the flames going in Plato's cave of Allegri, where people are chained and can only see shadows of what life is really about. And then when one escapes, when they come back, they're blinded by, like, the people are blinded by the light, and they think that, oh, this person is, like, he's telling them, hey, it's a beautiful world out there. You got to get out and come follow me. I want to rescue you. And they don't believe him because they feel that, because they're blinded by the light, that kind of energy. And they feel that when he went out there and if you've been in the dark your whole life and all of a sudden you go in the light, they thought that he was damaged by it. So that's the kind of energy, not really seeing the world for what it really is kind of energy. And then we have the perception. The grass is greener on the other side because it's fake. Sometimes grass isn't fake when it's green. Sometimes if you're someone that really likes green grass and you're in charge of it, you can water it and nurture it. You can fertilize it, weed it. You have to really want it to be green. And if you put the energy into it, then it will be green. And then this is talking about being on the correct path here. This is having anticipation when the fool leaves his journey. If you're on your destined path, you can anticipate the journey because you'll end up staying on it because you're in your heart's energy, like you're on God's path. And so this is, as long as you kind of, you don't have to resort to tactics to be able to get what you want. You just keep moving forward so that you can reap the harvest. And then we've got the Empress coming up here. So the Empress is on when the king sends this message of, like, okay, I'm going to ask this person, I'm going to make a commitment with this person. That's when the Empress energy comes in. And so that's reconfirming that. And then the Chariot, it's coming in very quickly. It's like already happening. So even if you can't see it right now, and like 7 + 3 = 10, and that's again like this new energy coming in from 2026. And then we have deception. So in the past, I don't know, there could have been, I'm still not convinced whether this Queen of Wands is someone that was involved in the, in the negative energy. And so there could have been some deception around someone that either the Empress or the Emperor were with that were part of the dirty deed, the tactics. And then we have Aries energy coming in. So this is about being versus doing. So like this is talking about, it's right on this energy. And the Aries is the infant of the zodiac. So this is talking about, again, the new cycle beginning and starting right from where you are. And it's saying you don't have to do anything. Like, you need to be yourself. And if you're doing things when you are being yourself, you're going to be in the correct energy to stay on your path. You were made for this journey. That's what you were destined for. And then we have the Cancer energy, talking about the full moon. That energy that we were talking about. And there's an engagement, like instead of being entrenched by the energy, be engaged by it. So maybe someone's going to propose to someone and say, hey, let's get engaged. It's kind of funny energy. And then we have the Scorpio energy coming in. So when these horoscope signs come in, I'm not looking for actual people. This is a very general collective reading. I'm talking more about the state of being of that sign when it's at its best, and the stage of life. And it's not about age, it's kind of like the stage of life that the person is in. So this energy, you may know people or say, oh, this is my situation, and I know an Aries that did this, and I know exactly, like it's coming to you. And that could be true, but that's not my intention. My intention is to bring it on a more global energy. So this is about uniting the whole world, elevating, the planet and the universe, and indifference. So some people don't care if they cause suffering to others, because they want something so bad, and unfortunately, they just feel like they can't have it. They don't have the confidence in themselves or they don't want to have to work that hard. So it's kind of like, when people say, "Oh, we're all in it together," sometimes they don't mean you too. They mean they're all in it together. But look at this, at the very top, we have the Emperor. So that's confirming that the Empress and the Emperor are together, and that this energy that was so, look at that, they're flying. That's kind of funny how that happened too. So I hope this is just saying like they're good to go. Like this energy is over. It might not be over in exactly like the beginning, but I feel like the full moon on the 3rd is going to bring that's a good time to release anything that is no longer serving you. And I do hope you've enjoyed this reading. I have. It's kind of the energy that my readings have been leaning towards. Like everyone kind of comes up the same. There's a lot of love and romance in the energy, and it's also the energy of cups of love. And I feel like, that's what the world needs now is love, sweet love. That's what we need more of. And it would solve a lot of problems, wouldn't it? I mean, like the real pure, true love, like just, we are all in it together. Let's not fight with each other. Let's not abuse each other. Let's move forward in a real strong way in 2026. So I hope you've enjoyed this reading. Please do like and comment if you have, and consider subscribing to the channel if you resonate with the energy. I would be honored if you did so, and I will be back tomorrow with another timely daily reading for you. Bye for now.